Okay, as you can see the screen, I have my files already created in this directory. So first of all, what we discussed was we have our MySQL deployment. The kind is deployment. I have given name to this deployment, and the app, I'm labeling this MySQL container as MySQL, just MySQL. I have only one replica, and in the specs sections, I am using MariaDB latest image, and the container port is 3306. So environment variables. We discussed many times what are the environment variables. Environment variable, like when we are creating a container, we tell the MariaDB user to be set in our container MariaDB password and MariaDB root password. Now I am taking these values from my secret key reference file. So this is my MySQL secret.yaml. So first, before deploying this file, what I should do is I can open MySQL secret.yaml, and so uh, I have created my SQL file. The kind is secret here. The kind is deployment. The metadata is I will call this file with name MySQL secret, and I will call it through this name. And I have randomly used my SQL admin user, my SQL admin password, my SQL root user, my SQL root password. These are my variables or key values. And here I have encoded the admin user into base 64. The password in base 64, and every parameter is encrypted in base 64. Now I am calling this secret reference file MySQL secret, which is this. And then I am taking the key value admin user. So this is my admin user. So admin user is actually admin, which is encoded and in base 64. So this admin value will come to my will be passed to this environment variable. So that's how we create our secret file. Plus, as I am calling this secret file here, so first I have to create this secret file, and then I will do the deployment. So there is nothing coming from outside. So let's deploy our secret. Kubectl. So apply -f MySQL secret. So our secret is created. Now I can come to this shell, and I will do kubectl apply -f MySQL deployment. So kubectl get pods. Our MySQL deployment has one container because I have said one replica set, so it is running. So going back to the picture, MySQL secret is there. Now I want to create an internal service, MySQL service. Service is very simple. We define the kind that it is a service. Metadata is this is the MySQL service, and I will call it whenever I want to connect to MySQL, I will connect with this name MySQL service. And this service on the back end will connect to this app MySQL. And on this MySQL, we have protocol is TCP. The syntax is very strict. I will share all these files. This is the target port. The target port is the port on which the container is listening, and this port is exposed so that everyone connects to this port. And when the traffic will be coming on some IP address on this 3306 or 8080 or 100 or 10, whatever you want to type it, but the target port should be, this can be any port, but this port should be the port on which your container is listening. So target port is your target container port. So I usually do it the same because these are the well-defined ports. If I am running the MySQL service, it should be 3306. If you are doing Apache or Nginx, it should be 80. If you're doing PHP-MyAdmin, it is 8080. So we should go with the default. So
there are just
yes,
countable, yeah, they are just countable ports like 8080, 80,
if
3306.
the first 100 ports are well defined. I mean, first thousands are very well defined. Not everyone is used. For NTP, we use 123. For DNS, we use 53.
Oh, okay.
For SSH, we use 22.
So
For
these
FTP,
are
we use
okay.
21. These are well defined ports.
Designated for the.
Yes, we cannot use it for any other person. We can.
Okay, yeah.
We can, but then there is a problem. On firewall, FTP is defined. They allow FTP. So on the back end, it will allow port 21. So if you have custom ports, then you have to make your own rules in the firewall. So it's always a good practice to use the standard ports.
Okay.
We don't change it until it is required. So kubectl apply -f MySQL service. Because on the network team, you will ask them to open the remote desktop connection on firewall. So he will open 389 because he knows, I mean, this is a well-defined port for remote desktop. So now I'll make it a full screen. kubectl get all. So our service is created, our deployment is created, and our replica set is created. There is no external IP because we have not done it. We are here. I mean, here. Our secret is created, our MySQL service is created, and our deployment is created. Now, what I'm gonna do is I am configuring PHP-MyAdmin. So as you can see, it is again the deployment, same metadata, PHP-MyAdmin labels. I will connect to this port through this label. Replica set generic, PHP-MyAdmin the same. Let's come to the containers part. Container port is 8080 because the PHP-MyAdmin container listens on port 8080. Anyone remember this PMA host? Anyone? From our previous classes, the Docker classes. Okay. These are again the external environment variables, Docker Hub. Because this is the container I am pulling from Docker Hub. If you remember, when we're running PHP-MyAdmin, we have defined our host as DB host, and DB host is either the IP address of the database server and the username password to connect to it. There are two options. We just tell the database host and provide the username password manually. We can try both things, or we can give the username password in the configuration so that it can automatically connect. And this is defined, yes. PMA host, host name of MySQL server, PMA user, where's PMA user? PMA user and PMA password. Define username and password to use only with the config authentication method, so that you don't need to provide username and password. And whenever you open the PHP-MyAdmin using these settings, you can connect to your database directly, or you can type username password if we skip these two fields. Is that clear?
Okay.
Okay. So the host value, I told you that we can make our config map. This is our config map. And in the config map, I have just defined the database URL is MySQL service. That's it. And in my deployment, I will call database URL. So when I call database URL, it will provide me the value of the URL MySQL service. And this MySQL service will be assigned to this PMA host. And the PMA user, we will take value from my secret file, the admin user, and the admin password.
The password.
Yes. So we have taken values from config map and from secret key reference. From there, we have database URL. From here, I have taken root user and root password. So my secret file is already there, but our config map is not there. Or what I can do is I can go to the vi config map. So this is my SQL service, and this is my SQL config map, and this is my SQL config map. So I am calling this config map. So first I have to create this config map, kubectl apply -f config map, and then kubectl apply -f php-admin deployment. Okay, so deployment is created, config map is created. So now kubectl get all. The php-admin container is still creating container. Actually, maybe it's downloading the image. So now on the image, the last thing is we can create php-admin service. The service is again we define it as service php-admin target port. Let's ignore this port for now. I don't know if it is allowed or not. Okay, so now kube now our php-admin service if you can see the type is load balancer, and when we were creating vi MySQL service, there is a difference. I have defined the type load balancer, and this means that I am creating an external service. An external IP is assigned through the load balancer. With the, if we don't define this attribute type, it will be by default internal service. So this php-admin is assigned external IP through load balancer. And if we go to our browser and browse this website on port 8080, it should work. Yes, it is working. So I have not given any username or password, and it has connected to my MySQL database. And if I do vi php my admin deployment, or let's, come on, I can make a copy of it, php admin deployment dash back, and now I can modify php my admin deployment, and I am just giving it a pma host, and I am not giving it username and password. So kubectl so it's configured. Let's go to, just close the browser, open it again. Let's log out. Okay, it's not. So, sorry, this is not the logout button. Where is the logout button? Okay, I can change the browser. Leave it. I have removed the username and password. It should not be. It should be asking for password because I have not given any password. Anyways, let's try it after some time, and let me check you. Get all. So all the replica sets are running, the deployment phpMyAdmin and the services are running. But this is a strange behavior that it's not using for. I should clear the history, or I can go incognito. What? Sorry. Yes, actually, it was taking it from the history. So I have gone incognito so that the new section is established. So as you can see now, I can give the password root, and I hope it is j at 82. Yes. So if I don't define the passwords there, I have to log into this through using password. Is this clear? Hello?
Yes, Jishan.
It's clear. Okay. So we can define the parameters, we can define usernames and passwords and in the secret file, and we can call them anywhere. So let's remove phpMyAdmin deployment. Yes. And rename this to this because I will be sharing with you the original files. So now what we can do is now we can access our phpMyAdmin. We can we have deployed our database. So in project 3, what we are gonna do is we will define ingress, and I can open my phpMyAdmin ingress. If you remember, or I can clear the screen. For testing purpose, we can use IP address and the ports. But if this website is available publicly, we cannot use the IP address, or we cannot tell everybody that our website is running on this IP address and this port. So we create the API. We are using this for this purpose is networking K8IO version 1. The kind is ingress. The metadata is I am defining this as phpMyIngress service, and rule set is I can define anything. I have defined it phpMyAdmin.com, and the path tells anything comes after phpMy.com is included. And the backend service is phpMyAdmin service. So what is phpMyAdmin service? So this is our phpMyAdmin service, the load balancer, the external IP. So if someone is browsing phpMyAdmin.com, it will receive the request and forward it to phpMyAdmin service, which is here. It will come to this phpMyAdmin service, and it is listening on some IP and port, and the target port is the port of the container. So it will go to that container. Is this clear? We are talking about the ingress.
Okay.
We have defined ingress in the when we were doing the theory. So now kubectl apply -f ingress. What's the name? phpMyAdmin ingress. So our ingress is defined. Now what I can do is I have not done DNS setup. So for the testing, what we can do is, if you guys remember, in our etc host file, we can run it as administrator. The location of this file is C Windows System 32 drivers etc, and we select all files because it has no extension. So I have defined a couple of more entries, but phpMyAdmin.com. So it will not it will not look up in DNS. It will first look in this file. So this is phpMyAdmin.com, and it should work if the deployment is done. And I have done kubectl. Okay, it's phpmadmin.com port 80. It is there. So, okay. Yes, I have defined port 80. So, it is asking for username password again because we have not deployed the original file again. And what I can do is I can do kubectl apply so that I don't need to do passwords again and again. So, kubectl apply -f phpmadmin deployment. It is again configured, and let's see. It will take some time for the new configurations. Anyways, till it is available, we can discuss something more. Okay, now it is configured. So, oh my god. In this configuration, I am connecting with the not with the root password, with the admin password. PHP. Oh, I'm coming from the admin user and admin password. It has limited rights, so I will use the file from project 2. You can see, you can observe what's happening. The password was changed, so it has connected with different username password, and the database, so only information schema is available. If I am connecting with now the root password, so everything is now.
Yes.
So now ingress is created. Ingress is created in project 3. So let's go to project 4. Okay. We can open Apache PHP deployment. I think I can discuss it here. Okay. I am okay, fine. So the kind is deployment, and the name is Apache PHP deployment. I will label is at Apache PHP. I will have one replica set, and this stuff is like again. Let's go to the template. So I am naming this container as Apache PHP, and if you remember, we have created an image Apache PHP 1.0 on Docker Hub. So I am taking this image from my Docker Hub because I know that in that container, I have defined my application, and my application connects with MySQL service. I have defined the connection name. The user is test. The password is ABC123, and the database is example. So we will create database example. We will create username test. I will assign that user password ABC1234, and the database connection is, or the database service is MySQL service. So if you remember, we did Docker. Okay. Docker build -t. So we built this container, we pushed it to Docker Hub, and now I am utilizing this again in my PHP deployment. Is there any confusion regarding this? This is our actually app container. Mohsen, you are able to view it on your mobile?
No, I'm already on the laptop. I use different laptop now.
Okay, fine. So
Yeah.
you are getting it?
Yeah. I'm just clicking and also going through with my PHP admin in my PC, and that PC is also working now internally.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So this is our Apache deployment, and now we know we have to create Apache service. So service will connect to what? Apache PHP. Okay, and then we can configure ingress rules. So ingress will connect to our backend Apache PHP service, right? And the name is zishan.com. Done? Okay. I am doing the configuration now. kubectl Apache PHP deployment. Oh, kubectl. I was so excited. Apply -f. So we will be doing this deployment. We will be doing service, and we will be doing ingress. So kubectl get pods. Our pods are running good. They are running because I have already done the testing, so everything is downloaded from Docker Hub. So -o void. Good. So you see, Apache is running on node 1, MySQL is running on node 2. PHP admin is running on node 3. So this is how the management node is distributing the load across all the worker nodes. So kubectl get all. Okay, so our Apache PHP server service is live. And let's see, I have the zishan.com defined. And it is running on the host 138. So let's go to zishan.com. Zishan.com. It should work. It should work. But okay, yes, it will give us error because we have not created the test database username and password. If the application is working correctly, this should give us error. Let's wait for the error to pop up. Perfect. So zishan.com, our application is opening, but it is giving the error that you have not created the database. Example. You have to create an example database and you have to provide it privileges. Yes. Okay. Now I have muted all. Add user, and the username was test, and the password was abc1234. abc1234. So I will give this user all the permissions, and I will get. Okay, is it done? No. Go. Come on, what's happening? What's wrong? Okay. abc1234. I think the password was mismatched. Yes. So now if I go on zishan.com, your database or application is connected successfully on zishan.com on your microservices container. So you can reference this file, but the same way I have added Apache PHP and the services and the ingress rules. I mean, the image was growing so much, so I have not added it. The concepts are clear from this, and your application is live. Any question till here? And if you want to see that everything is okay, what I should do is kubectl delete -f MySQL deployment. If I delete it, zishan.com will not work. If I recreate it, will this work? Again, someone can answer. Should it work?
I think yes.
No, it should not work. Okay, the containers are creating right now because I have destroyed them. So let's wait them to pop up. Where is the example dot our database? Example database is not there. Yes. We have discussed in Docker that Docker's containers, they don't persist the data until you do it.
Yes.
Manually or automatically, but there should be some way. That some way we can discuss tomorrow. But data persistence in Dockers is not by default. It's not there. You have to do it. But you know, it's working. And for the time being, we can create our database again. Right. exa example. And the privileges quickly test abc1234. abc1234. Go. So it should work now. Connected successfully. Stop share? No, stop recording.